Step into a world where heaven and hell coexist, where the line between life and death is blurred, and the deepest secrets of life lie hidden. Hey everyone! Today we're diving into Season 2 of another savage yet stunning anime called Hell's Paradise. In this anime, we follow the story of a vicious assassin named Gabimaru and his journey to survive this hellish island and return home. This story is awesome, the art is stunning, and I've had so much fun reviewing it. So without further ado, push this video to 5K likes and subscribe so I know you want to see the rest of this series. Either way, sit back and relax as we dive into Season 2 of Yukikaku's Hell's Paradise. Now we see that Jika has just returned from the island in the Satsuma area of mainland Japan. The shogun's officials summon him and ask what happened there. Jika tells them that Chobe killed Jaka's criminal even before reaching the island. Because of that, he directly abandoned the mission and came back. But due to the ocean waves, he was forcefully pushed onto the island. And then, with great difficulty, he somehow managed to escape. After saying this, Jika goes silent. Then the officials tell him to explain in detail. Jika straight up refuses. He says that telling more will only cause problems. He wants nothing to do with that dangerous place. Just then, the shogun next to Jika bows, apologizing for Jika's behavior. As soon as the officials see this, they understand and ignore Jika's behavior for now. Now the shogun says that Jika will once again go to that same island. After the meeting, Jika gets irritated. He says that all those officials are treating them like pawns. But the shogun, who is a bit young and strict, scolds him and says that talking like that in front of officials is not fitting for a samurai. Jika relaxes a little and says that your presence in the meeting was helpful. But hearing this, the shogun gets even angrier and tells Jika to change his attitude. He says this attitude is shameful for a samurai. Now Jika apologizes and then asks who will be taken on the mission now. The shogun tells him that this time, instead of criminals, they will take Iwaga's ninjas. Because when the process of selecting criminals was going on, one Iwaga garden ninja easily killed all the criminals, and now their chief wants to send those ninjas. The shogun says that in a few days they will leave from here and will finish the mission on the island as soon as possible and return. Just then, suddenly a man comes and asks, "Jika-san, what should we do with the head of that huge monster that you brought?" Now Jika remembers that he hasn't even told them about this evidence. He says that this is not the right time to reveal this. Shukin, out of curiosity, goes near it to check that thing. Then a worker tells him that it might still be alive. But the shogun says no, this thing is dead. He says he is not feeling any life energy from it. Now we see two people coming from the shadows talking. They confirm that rank 2 shogun and rank 3 Jika will go on the mission with them. Now the scene cuts to the island, where Gabimaru and his team leave the cave the next day and head up the valley to find the old gate. But on the way, they run into Chobe and his brother Toma. But then Chobe smiles and directly comes and hits Gabimaru with a spinning kick. Gabimaru disappears in a second. But then Gabimaru lands on Chobe's shoulders and slams him down. But Mei shouts that his Tao is very strong. And boom! Chobe immediately flies and forcefully smashes Gabimaru into the ground. He says that he doesn't want to make friends. We see Gabimaru jump up from the ground. Gabimaru thinks that now Chobe has also become immortal. Then Gabimaru kicks Chobe, but Chobe easily blocks it. Then Chobe lifts Gabimaru and slams him hard into the ground. Now Gabimaru angrily says that he will tear Chobe apart and uses Ninpo, Blooming Needle. But it is only a distraction, and then Gabimaru attacks from above and badly injures Chobe. Then Chobe kicks Gabimaru in the face. Actually, Chobe's Tao is so strong that he instantly heals. Gabimaru, in rage, starts biting Chobe like an animal. Seeing this, Chobe is shocked and backs away from Gabimaru. But then Gabimaru bites Chobe's neck. Even after this, Chobe takes no damage. Chobe's wounds instantly heal. Now both of them are standing face to face. Then Chobe kicks the ground and breaks it. Because of this, Gabimaru loses his balance, and Chobe uses his Tao to strike Gabimaru. On the side, Gantetsusai asks Mei why Gabimaru looks so weak. Mei replies that his Tao is broken. He has lost something important. But Gantetsusai doesn't fully understand what she means. Chobei shouts at his brother Toma to attack the others. After that, Toma rushes at Gantetsusai, thinking that since he has only one arm, he will be an easy target. But then Gantetsusai just headbutts him, takes his sword, and says that now the real fight begins. After that, Gantetsusai starts beating Toma without even using a sword and says that Toma is weak because he depends on his brother. Then Toma says that his brother decides everything for him and summons a doshi monster for a cure. That doshi attacks Mei and Fuchi, but then Fuchi gets ready to protect Mei. Now Gabamaru becomes completely enraged. Gabamaru ignites his body and says that now he will burn everything. He combines Ninpo, Burning Bridge and Stone Storm to send heated rocks at Chobei. After that, both of them fall to the ground, and Gabamaru is ready to burn himself to death. But Chobei says that doing this will kill both of them. But Gabamaru replies that he doesn't care. He says everyone is replaceable, and if he dies, someone else will take his place in his village. Hearing this, Chobei gets triggered. Now Chobei remembers that he has something to lose, his brother. Now Chobei thanks Gabamaru. After that, Chobei's body transforms into a monster. Many tentacles come out of his body and start attacking Gabamaru. Gabamaru uses flames again, but Chobei cuts through the flames and throws Gabamaru into the air. Now Gabamaru somehow frees his body from the tentacles using ascetic blessing. But now Joe can't see anything. Joe angrily shouts, asking where that ninja went. Then Gantetsusai says that Gabamaru is fighting completely differently today compared to yesterday. In reply, Mei says that Gabamaru's Tao is still very low. Now he cannot win because Gabamaru is only focusing on being strong, and to use Tao properly, he needs to be both strong and weak. Now Gabamaru thinks that he will finish Chobei with his remaining strength. But then Gabamaru gets a vision of the person he had forgotten. But Gabamaru ignores that thought. Then Fuchi sees that both of them have lost their senses. Toma, seeing his brother turning into a beast, realizes that he is fighting for him. He remembers Gantetsusai's words that Chobei is only fighting for his brother Toma. Now Chobei, in rage, starts destroying everything like a storm. But now Chobei realizes that he has accidentally attacked his own brother Toma. Seeing this, Chobei can't even move. Chobei thinks to himself, "What have I done?" And again says, "You are my whole world, my brother." Then Gabamaru sees the perfect opportunity and immediately gets ready to attack Chobei. But suddenly, Mei quickly runs in to stop Gabamaru, because she doesn't want Gabamaru to waste his remaining Tao and die there. She stands behind him and releases a powerful Tao blast, creating a huge crater in the ground. Gabamaru, Toma, and Chobei all start falling down. Gabamaru somehow survives, but when Chobei tries to get out, Gabamaru attacks from above, but he throws a rock, because of which Chobei falls down. However, Chobei somehow uses his vine to throw Toma to a safe place and says, "Wait, I'll be back." Now Gantetsusai and Fuchi are quite shocked at how Mei is using such powerful Tao. They can't understand it. And then everyone gets an even bigger shock when Mei transforms into a fully grown, mature woman. Now all three head toward the gate, and seeing Horai's beauty, they all get seduced by it. The mystical feeling impresses everyone. Hoko remembers Muden's words, that Lord Tensen experiments on humans and keeps them as test subjects. He thinks that if today's humans succeed in defeating an immortal, then the world of this island will change. He is sure these people are the most unique humans in 1,000 years. Now as soon as they reach the old gate, they all meet there. Fuchi, Gantetsusai, Mei, Toma, and an unconscious Gabamaru. Everyone is surprised to see each other. Then Sajiri and Fuchi ask what happened after they got separated. Fuchi is happy to see that Mei is safe. Then Hoko asks in shock whether everyone came up from Sashi's pit. When he finds out that yes, they did, he goes silent, thinking that in 1,000 years no one has done what these humans have done. Now Fuchi gets the news of Sa's death and goes to his grave and cries in grief. Now Cheyenne, seeing that very few survivors are left, feels regret. Gantetsusai says that regretting these criminals is useless. When they came here, they were all ready to kill each other anyway. Then he points at Toma, calling him a traitor, and says to kill him right now. But Sajiri stops him and says that without Chobei, Toma is no threat. Then Yuzuriha warns everyone that Gabimaru is very badly injured. She thinks he is going to die. Fuchi explains to everyone that Gabimaru has used so much Tao that his injury is not just physical, it is internal as well. Now Sajiri goes near Gabimaru and looks at him sadly. But then Gabimaru regains consciousness and tries to stand up. Sajiri tells him to check his wounds. But Gabimaru is relaxed and says he is fine. Cheyenne warns him that if he doesn't get treatment, he will die. But Gabimaru says that he already considers himself dead. Sajiri is shocked and thinks, "Who is this?" Gabimaru simply replies that she knows him. He is Gabimaru the Hollow. Then Gabimaru attacks Sajiri. But Fuchi and Cheyenne stop him. Sajiri realizes that when Gabimaru's Tao is disturbed, his memory also breaks. Gabimaru has lost all his memories. She tells him that she is his friend and that she wants to help him. But Gabimaru still moves away from her. So Sajiri angrily pins Gabimaru to the ground. Gantetsusai, seeing this scene, thinks it looks like Bachujutsu. Fuchi doesn't believe it, and Mei shyly says that it is a little different. Now Sajiri says that this is not the time for all this. They need Gabimaru's strength to escape the island. She reminds him that someone is waiting for him at home. And then Gabimaru's Tao awakens again and his memories start coming back. Now a flashback starts, where Chobei remembers his fight at the bottom of the valley. He thinks about how far he has fallen. Then he realizes that the island is shaped like a bowl, with ridges in the middle that are all connected. Then he sees a Sosh group or a group of monsters, and now he uses them to test his Tao. Now all the remaining survivors hide in a cave to avoid Lord Tensen's sensing. Gantetsusai calls Cheyenne a coward because he is afraid of Tensen. But Yuzuriha and Nurugai tell him how dangerous the Tensen are. Cheyenne asks Gabimaru if he fought Tensen. Gabimaru says yes, and now he can control Tao, but it is difficult. Hearing this, Yuzuriha says that leaving the island would be the right choice. But Gabimaru refuses and says that leaving this island is not that easy. Now Yuzuriha is about to explain her theory, but Gabimaru stops her and says that she was going to say that his wife is just an illusion. Yuzuriha wants to be sure whether Gabimaru actually knows if his wife is real or not. Gabimaru remembers his wife's voice and eyes. He says that her name is Yui. That is his proof. Now, to know the truth, he must return home. Sajiri happily agrees, and Gantetsusai also says that Gabimaru is a perfect partner. Yuzuriha thinks that a shinobi never shares his weakness. But Cheyenne says that only someone who has something to lose can be truly strong, and he can sense Gabimaru's Tao flow increasing. The funny thing is that the name Yui, in Japanese, also means bond or marriage, so it's unclear whether she is real or just something created by the chief. Now at the bottom of the valley, Chobei finishes off the remaining Sosh or monsters. Then Rain comes and asks him if he killed Muden. On the other side, Fuchi, after learning about his friends' deaths, shows mercy to a guilty person and lets him go. Now in the cave, Sajiri tells Fuchi that Mei is sick and not recovering. She asks if he can make medicine. Fuchi gets angry and says that Mei is just like Lord Tensen. But then he says he will make the medicine, but in return, Mei must tell them everything. Now outside the cave, Gabimaru tells everyone to help him, because he wants to learn Tao properly. Toma, in excitement, starts the first attack using Gantetsusai's sword. Gabimaru senses everything not with his eyes, but with Tao. Then Gantetsusai attacks Gabimaru, but Gabimaru easily avoids the attack using Tao. Then he delivers a powerful Tao kick and sends him flying away. After that, Nurugai attacks, but Gabimaru grabs her too and uses her to hit the others. Now during the fight, Gabimaru thinks that the Immortals or the Tensen have been training for hundreds of years. Learning battle from them is useless. The real way is to use their own Tao against them. Nurugai steps forward and says that Gabimaru can defeat the Tensen. Gabimaru says that he needs more time. Meanwhile, Gabimaru's practice fight ends. Cheyenne is impressed by Gabimaru's strength and says that he can defeat the Tensen. At that moment, Toma kneels in front of Gantetsusai and asks to be trained, because he now wants to become strong enough to escape the island. At first, Gantetsusai doesn't trust him. But when Toma cuts his hair as proof of his resolve, Gantetsusai accepts and tells him to follow him. Toma decides that he can only become worthy of fighting alongside his brother if he grows stronger. In another scene, in the valley, Chobei sees a strange creature and thinks that it is the same creature he fought before. Rain explains that it is the Tane flower, which converts humans into tan. But Chobei is maintaining control of his Tao. Rain attacks Chobei with thin splinter-like strikes, but Chobei dodges them. Chobei realizes that winning will not be easy. So now he transforms into his breakdown state. Chobei starts attacking even more aggressively, using vines to strike. But now his vines begin affecting his mind as well. Somehow, Chobei expands his vines and breaks Rain's tanden, destroying his immortal body. He thinks that breaking the tanden is the correct way to defeat enemies. But suddenly, Rain appears behind him and says that he only killed his clone. He is the real one. Chobei releases his Tao again. Seeing this, Rain becomes happy and decides that she will take Chobei to the palace. Chobei attacks again, but the vines render him unconscious. In his dream, he says that he will not repeat his father's mistake and will never abandon his brother. Later, he wakes up tied to a bed, with Rain standing nearby, tending to plants. She tells him that he is the final key to her research. She wants to understand his Tao cycle through Bachujutsu. In fact, Chobei is the only person through whom a perfect tan can be created. Inside the cave, Fuchi tells Sajiri and Yuzuriha that the island, the monsters, and Lord Tenzin were all created by the same person. He is a Hoshi mystic, a master of ancient Chinese healing and divination. He controls Tao, creates crossbreed creatures, and he is the one who created the Lord Tenzin. They are half human and half plant, both male and female. They can instantly change their gender. Normal people only use a little Tao in their entire lives. But Lord Tenzin has been polishing and refining his energy for thousands of years. No human can face him. Yuzuriha asks why they are doing all this. So Fuchi explains that the Tenzin are creating a tan so that they can become immortal. Hearing this, Yuzuriha and Sajiri are shocked. Now they realize that the elixir truly exists. Fuchi says that it might only be a prototype, a potion made from human Tao that allows someone to live for many more years. Now the mission is clear. To defeat the Tenzin, they must exhaust or destroy their Tao. Yuzuriha asks that if the tan is already complete, then why is the research still continuing? Mei explains that the Tenzin are acting under the orders of their master, Zhu Fu. Fuchi explains that Zhu Fu was a Hoshi mystic from China who came to Japan 1,000 years ago in search of immortality. Maybe he is still alive. The story hints that some mysterious person still exists. So wait until you see him. Now Mei collapses from exhaustion. She reveals that her left hand has turned into a branch. Actually, because of overusing Tao, she is transforming into a tree. And now, to heal, she needs energy or Tao. Yuzuriha suggests a restoration technique. But Mei says she has very little Tao left. Rain broke her tanden, because of which her Tao is leaking out. Now Mei's tragic backstory is finally revealed. How Rain tortured her, and how much suffering she endured. Hoko offers to give Mei his Tao so that she can heal. But she is afraid because that would mean Hoko would sacrifice himself or die. Hoko says that he is going to turn into a tree anyway. This is the punishment for his sins. He says he considers Mei like his daughter, and he doesn't want to lose her. Mei cries and says that he will always be her father. Finally, she accepts Hoko's Tao. They are both crying because this is the final goodbye. She places her hand towards him and starts absorbing his Tao. A massive surge of Tao fills the cave. Mei tears are pouring out as Hoko starts disappearing. She returns to her small child form and says goodbye to Hoko. Then there's a funny moment. Gantetsusai gets shocked and emotional, almost crying, saying that Mei has become a child again. He jokes that when she was in her adult form it was easier to carry her. Now back to the main story. Cheyenne and Gabimaru are thinking of a new strategy. But suddenly Mei says that a new group has arrived on the island, and their Tao is very powerful. Cheyenne says that maybe Shujen and the other Asiman have arrived as backup. Fuchi also says that there will probably be new criminals in the group. Now Gabimaru asks Sajiri if Shujen could be their ally. But Sajiri says that he is very strong. Gantetsusai doubts that strength alone will be enough. Cheyenne remembers that Shujen could sense Tao even before. Now on the mainland, Lord Aoki says that that idiot has sent 50 ninjas. He feels that their leader has some different hidden plan. The shogun tries to work with him, but Aoki asks how they will control all these ninjas, because 2 of the Asimen among them are unranked. Now we see rank 3 Kayamaru, the small Kumamaru, and the beautiful combat teacher Isuzu have already left for the island. Because Kume is small, he is also unranked, and Isuzu is the shogun's private teacher, but because she is a woman, she is also unranked. The shogun says that they are not going to just observe the mission. They are going there to support their people. After hearing Aoki's comment, Kayamaru gets irritated and says, "Who is this old man to judge us?" Isuzu tries to stop him, but Kyo says that he alone can easily defeat everyone here, and he slices off the mask of a nearby ninja. Now Isuzu gets angry, draws her sword, and places it near Kyo's neck, telling him to put his sword away. Just then, an Iwaga ninja steps forward and says not to worry. Isuzu feels a little embarrassed and apologizes to them. But the ninja says that if they doubt them, they can choose any one of them, and he will give up his life himself to show his loyalty. Then another ninja goes to the new leader and reminds him of their chief's order. They must kill Gabimaru at any cost, even if they have to give up their own lives. Kyo tells the shogun that these people are very strange. The shogun says he doesn't care. He already doesn't trust them. To him, they are just criminals. They only need to find the elixir. Now the shogun angrily says that in the end, he will kill all these criminals. Only his own people should stay safe. Kyo jokingly says that maybe everyone is already dead by now. But in the shogun's heart, there is only one hope, that Izan and everyone else on the island are safe. Now Jika asks Aoki if taking such strange people will not make the mission even more difficult. But Aoki tells him that the shogun wants fast results, because finding the elixir of life will make the king happy. But Jika knows that the truth is something else. This ship is not carrying hope. It is carrying only death and chaos. This boat will take people to death even faster than to immortality. Now Jika, one last time, tells Aoki to turn the ship back. But no one listens to Jika. On the coast, Shujen has placed his sword down. Suddenly, a monster appears in front of him. Shujen defeats it easily using only his Tao, without even using his sword. Nirugai is shocked at his strength. But Yuzuriha tells an old story about how once Shujen killed all the criminals just to extract the location of other criminals. Sajiri defends him, saying that his true character is different. Fuchi teases her, saying that Shujen was Sajiri's first crush. On the other side, Cheyenne explains that Shujen hates criminals. He will neither befriend them nor become part of their team. Now as Shujen and his group move forward, they see rank 1 Yamada Asimen Aizen lying dead under a tree. Shujen gets an emotional flashback. In the past, Shujen was discussing execution work with Aizen. Aizen had taught him to keep both his blade and his heart pure. Back in the present, Shujen begins crying loudly over Aizen's death. Then he starts praying for him. While Shujen is calmly praying, the ninja group is thinking that Gabimaru is their target. They plan to use every trap on this dangerous island to complete their mission. Suddenly, a giant flower falls onto the ninja group. Then Mushin creatures begin grabbing them. Kayamaru and Isuzu cut the flower apart. Shujen is still depressed. But just as Shujen finishes his prayer, another monster suddenly attacks. But Shujen instantly kills it and angrily declares that he will wipe out everyone on this island. Meanwhile, Jika once again tries to convince Shujen to turn back. He suggests collecting data and retreating, but Shujen angrily asks him why he still hasn't drawn his blade. The ninjas recommend that gathering intelligence is their area of expertise. On the other side, the remaining survivors listen to Cheyenne's plan. 2 teams will be formed. One team will search for an exit. The other will search for the elixir. Tan. Cheyenne draws a diagram and explains which attribute should counter which tensen. Yuzuriha says escaping will be difficult and risky, and suggests that staying hidden might be smarter. Cheyenne gives everyone a choice. Either go alone on your own path or stay together as a team and survive collectively. That is the end of this video. This was part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Part 5 is on my channel. Hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any new videos. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys again very, very soon. Later.